Fáilte go dtí an Irish Cultural Centre agus lá féile pádraig díobh. Máidí Dúr is Anam Dam, and I'm delighted to welcome you to the Irish Cultural Centre and to our virtual show. Thanks to Matthew Henderson, our volunteer cameraman, we're able to connect with you on this special day. We've a full show lined up for you, brimming with music, song, dance, and a little storytelling. To kick things off, we've a wonderful St. Patrick's Day greeting from ICC President Martina Curtin.
Dear members and friends, a ceoltaí agus a corda. Tásúla gom go bhfuil sibh agus bhórglan go léir, I mór na slánta, tá rééis an bhliain atá ard. I hope you and your families are in good health after the year that has passed. Lá féile pádraig chonadíobh go léir. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you all. As we celebrate St. Patrick's Day at the Irish Cultural Centre and around the world, we are reminded of that Irish resilience and the struggles of St. Patrick as we recover from the pandemic. Mar a bhearn an seanachal ní neart go cur le céile. As the Irish seanachal says, there is strength in unity. And today we remember our own identity and strength as Irish Americans as we celebrate our culture and uniqueness. Tá áthas oireann ardnúchas agus ard tradiisiún ceol, árán agus dása a callúra gach bhliain ag an ICC ar lá éile fádraig. We're incredibly fortunate at the ICC that St. Patrick's Day allows us to promote our Irish heritage through traditional Irish music, song and dance. Nowhere in the world celebrates St. Patrick's Day like America. Wherever you are celebrating our heritage that binds you together, I wish you all a happy and safe St. Patrick's Day. Bannach tí ná féile pádraig oribh go léir. Bur bua agus beannacht.
What a lovely message. Thanks, Martina. Martina, a native of County Clare, is our first female president, and what a difference she has made. We offer many classes here at the centre, from Irish history, Irish music, Seanas dancing, set dancing, and we recently introduced baking classes. These classes are taught by Andrea Feeney from County Sligo. She's a home economics teacher by trade, and today she's going to demonstrate for us how to make a traditional Irish brown bread.
Hi everybody, happy St. Patrick's Day. My name is Andrea Feeney, for those of you that don't know me. I teach cooking classes here at the Irish Cultural Centre. I'm originally from County Sligo in Ireland, and I am a home economics teacher. So today what we are going to be doing is making a super quick and easy brown bread or brown soda bread. Lots of ingredients but very simple to make, so follow along and we will share the recipe with you guys afterwards, or if anybody is interested you can email us and we will happily send it to you. So we are going to get started. I have everything laid out here on the table that I need. The main ingredients are obviously whole wheat flour, so whole wheat flour here, and I'm just actually going to start measuring right as I'm talking and talk us through it. So we need 2 cups of whole wheat flour, so you get your measuring cups, and I'm going to show you the correct way to measure flour. So you don't scoop it, or you shouldn't. You should always spoon it into your cup, because obviously we are measuring by volume as opposed to weight, which is something that I only started doing when I moved to the United States. I always measured by weight when I lived in Ireland. So 2 cups of whole wheat flour. And any whole wheat flour works really well. I personally love King Arthur brand. You won't see my brands today because I have everything in containers, but I'll try and explain and remember as I go. So I typically use King Arthur flour for most of my baking. So that's whole wheat flour. We will also do 1 cup of white flour, and again the same measuring process for the flour. So if you've been baking or cooking and your pancakes haven't been working out, or your breads haven't been working out, you are more than likely measuring incorrectly. So we'll fix that after today. And soda bread is a traditional food in Ireland, probably because of the lack of ingredients years ago when people used to make bread. Like baking powder and yeast weren't readily accessible, so we use bread soda or baking soda as a raising agent. This ingredient, I don't know if you guys can see it clearly, I hope you can, is wheat bran, or also wheat germ works pretty well. It's a really good source of fibre, and again, it was, you know, back in Ireland, are just using up all of the ingredients. So wheat would have been grown in Ireland and still is. So using all of the wheat grain as opposed to just using the white, you know, when it was broken down. And if you can't get wheat germ over here, again, I use Bob's Red Mill, I think is the brand that I typically use, but you can get it at health food stores. If you cannot get wheat bran, a good alternative is ground flax seed, and I'll just use golden ground flax seed or any flax seed, anything that has like this consistency. So it's kind of just a little more grainy, I guess. Almost like oat bran, which would also work. The next ingredient is oats. And we're just going to do a cup and a half of oats. And for oats, it doesn't really matter if you scoop, it's not really the same concept as with the flour. So, sorry, a cup and a fourth of oats. And my last ingredient before I start adding in the butter is some brown sugar. And it's a fourth a cup of brown sugar just to add some sweetness. The sugar is optional, so if you're somebody that's on a low sugar diet or prefers not to add sugar, you can definitely leave that out, but it's just a 1/4 cup. So once we have all of those ingredients measured in, we're just going to whisk them up really quickly, just to combine them really well, make sure they're all mixed in. I'm making a little mess on the table here, as you can see. Best part about cooking. Okay. Next ingredient, dry ingredient, is bread soda or baking soda. And like I said, this is the raising agent, and it's just the bread soda that you get at the store. Some of you probably have a box of this in your fridge to stop it from smelling, or you might use it for cleaning. Some people brush their teeth with baking soda, lots and lots of uses. So this will actually work with our milk to help the bread to rise in the oven. So it's 2 teaspoons of that, and just when you are adding in the bread soda, make sure that you're only using a teaspoon and not 2 tablespoons. Make sure that you're differentiating between those, because I have had people use this exact recipe and make that mistake. So 2 teaspoons of bread soda. And after you add that, again, just give it a little whisk together. Just combine everything. The next step is my butter. So I have my butter cut up into just little cubes, and we're just going to add that in, toss it in, and it's 3 tablespoons of butter. So just mix it up, and then after I've mixed it with, you know, whatever spoon or mixing utensil you're using, you're going to use either a pastry blender or your fingers to rub it in or to cut it in so that it cuts in through the flour. And this also helps to get some air into this bread, so that it will also help it just to rise a little bit in the oven. So I'm just doing like an over and back motion with my pastry blender until they look like about pea size or smaller. So you don't want them any bigger than pea size pieces. And again, you know, this was another tool, like the measuring cups, I guess. This was another tool that I never used until I moved to the United States, and actually until I started teaching home economics here. Because in Ireland, what we would do for this step, instead of using the pastry blender, we would always just use our fingers. So it's called the rub-in method. So you would rub in the butter like this, which is, you know, if you're making homemade scones or like a white soda bread that has butter, this is what you would do. And you want to lift it up above the bowl. Only use the fingertips because they're the coldest part of your hand. Always lift it up above the bowl because, again, that's incorporating even more air into this bread. Sometimes this bread is super versatile. It's easy. You really cannot mess it up. Sometimes if I'm in a hurry and I want to skip this step, I have melted my butter and just mixed it in with the milk, and it's always worked out fine for me. But this is definitely a better bread if you take the time to rub it in or cut it in. So after we've added that, it is pretty straightforward. We're just going to add in some milk. So it's 2 cups of milk or 500 milliliters. And it's not actually regular milk that we use, it's buttermilk, because the acid in the buttermilk works with the alkali, which is our bread soda, little science lesson here, works with the bread soda, and that's what helps it to rise. So this right now, I just have plain milk here, but I am going to add 2 tablespoons of vinegar. So I typically will do about a tablespoon per cup of milk. So 2 tablespoons of vinegar, do a little more for good luck since it's St. Patrick's Day. And you just kind of let it sit for a minute, and then I'll give it a mix up. And you can see it's kind of starting to curdle. You probably can't see. It's starting to get thick or start to curdle. So that's just the vinegar working with the milk. If you do not have vinegar, lemon juice works fine for this. I've done lime juice on occasion. If you have sour cream at home, you can use sour cream. If you have yogurt, just plain whole fat yogurt, you can use that as well. So any of those like more acidic foods will work. And also that's another thing in Ireland, the reason that buttermilk was used in breads was so that we didn't waste, because you know, things weren't as easily accessible, people didn't have a lot. So that's why we try and use up all of these ingredients and waste nothing. Same as with the wheat germ, you know, and the oats, use up everything. But this is a super wholesome bread with obviously all of those ingredients, really high in fiber. So very, very good for us. Once you've added in the milk, you just simply give it a mix. I like to use my dough hook for mixing. Sorry, I should have showed this to you before I got it covered in my batter or my mixture. It's just a little, it's like round and has 2 or 3 holes in the middle of it. And it just helps to prevent over mixing, because I notice when people make this bread, they sometimes will over mix. So if you're just using like a wooden spoon or a regular spoon, be careful that you don't over mix it. You want to just mix it until it's wet, until you can see no more dry flour. And it is done. And for this recipe, I use a 9x5 pan. I have lined this pan already. You do not need to line it. You can just spray it with spray if you have it, or you can just brush it with a little bit of oil. But I just like to line it for convenience. It pops right out, makes it easier for me. So once you have everything mixed up, I'm just gonna pour it right in the pan. And I have the oven preheating at 350 degrees. And it bakes, if you do the 9x5 pan, it does take about 65 minutes to bake. So it's kind of a longer bake than some other breads. But you can do it in 2 smaller pans. You could definitely divide this between 2 smaller pans and bake it in about 45 minutes. So that's a good tip. And it also freezes really, really well. So if you make the 2 smaller loaves, you can stick one in the freezer and take it out midweek and you have 2 loaves of bread. My kids, I have a 3-year-old and a 1.5-year-old, they love this bread. We eat it. I bake probably 3 loaves of it a week, definitely 2, depends on the week, sometimes none. But we all eat it. We eat it with brown bread, with jam, with butter, just plain with a cup of tea. It goes with pretty much anything. I hope you like the mess I've made. We are going to go and pop this in the oven and be back in about 65 minutes.
And here's our finished product, Andrea Feeney's brown bread. It's absolutely delicious. She recommends having it with a cup of tea and some butter and jam, or you can also have it with a pint of Guinness and smoked salmon. Either way, it's a delicious bread and have fun making it. I think I'll go with the Guinness. Next up, we have a recorded message from Washington from the Irish ambassador to the US, Daniel Mulhall.
I want to send my greetings for St. Patrick's Day to my friends at the Irish Cultural Centre of New England. This is a somber time for the world, with events in Ukraine casting a shadow across our lives. However, after 2 years when our St. Patrick's Day activities have been curtailed and restricted to the virtual world, I hope that this year Irish people all over the United States and beyond will come together to mark 100 years of Irish independence, to mark the fact that we cherish and treasure our culture, the culture that we in Ireland share with our people all over the world, and that while we won't forget the sufferings of the people of Ukraine, that we will also recognize the things that we hold dear, and that we will come together to celebrate those things in an appropriate way on this occasion as we mark St. Patrick's Day 2022. I wish everyone at the Cultural Centre all the very best for St. Patrick's Day. Enjoy the occasion and also for the year ahead.
Thank you, Ambassador Mulhall, for those gracious words. The ICC recently went through a refresh, and I would just like to take a moment to thank all of the volunteers who helped with the carpentry, the painting, the electrical work, the big clean-up. We really appreciate all of their volunteer work. It's made such a difference to the centre, and we hope you'll join us. We're open now. We opened up in March, and going forward we have concerts and events, and we're open every Friday, Saturday and Sunday with live music. Our GA season will be in full swing this summer, and so too will the rugby. So we are open to the public, and we hope you'll just check our website for what activities that might interest you and come and join us. And now I think we're ready for a little bit of music. I'd like to introduce to you our musicians on stage: Aoife Griffin, David Healy, Kieran Dalton and Ginty McGrath. Have fun.
Thank you, Maudie, for that lovely introduction. As Maudie mentioned, I joined the centre here last October, and I'm working as a cultural manager here, promoting all aspects of Irish music, song and dance. I'm joined here on stage today by David Healy, a native of Boston but born and bred Abbeyfield man, and Kieran Dalton, no better man, only a Massachusetts man, to join us here. Right mix. As Maudie mentioned, I've come from Roscommon, and I've joined the centre here on a J1 internship. We're going to cut now to a video of Consul General of Ireland here in Boston, Leisha Moore. Leisha is a brilliant supporter of the centre and we're so thankful to have her here.
Accordia, friends, Banachí na Féile Póric Arv Galer. Happy St. Patrick's Day. While it's always a good time to be Irish in New England, this St. Patrick's Day provides us with a special opportunity to shine a spotlight on our thriving Irish community here. Despite the challenges of these past 2 years, our friends throughout the region have continued to celebrate old and new traditions, to make new connections and to explore their culture and heritage in this most Irish corner of America. In Ireland this year, our key theme for St. Patrick's Day in the wake of the pandemic is reconnecting with our communities at home and abroad. We mark St. Patrick's Day this year more with solidarity than celebration as we reflect upon our losses of these past 2 years and also as we witness heartbreaking scenes in Ukraine. We in Ireland, like the people of the United States, stand firmly with the people of Ukraine, and we express our Irish identity this St. Patrick's Day by rededicating ourselves to democratic and humanitarian values. The events of these past weeks have shown us all once again that community is a universal value that demands meaningful solidarity with our fellow human beings. So this St. Patrick's Day, I am truly grateful for our deep and thriving Irish community here in New England, which the Irish Cultural Centre does so much to bring together. I'm sincerely grateful to you all, and I'm sincerely grateful for the Consulate's wonderful partnership with the Irish Cultural Centre. Banach Dina Féile Póric Arv Galer. Happy St. Patrick's Day and happy Evacuation Day.
Hello, 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 good evening. Greetings one and all from South Dublin. My name is Helena Byrne and I'm a storyteller and singer, and I am delighted to have been asked by Maudie, the lovely Maudie, to have been part of this project, because I have visited the centre on a number of occasions and it's a wonderful place to visit. It's so welcoming. As I'm preaching to the choir, why am I telling you this? You all know how wonderful a place it is, and I'm absolutely delighted to be part of this evening's programme. I'm going to share a song, I'm going to share a story with you, and a little bit about myself. As I said, I'm living in South Dublin. I'm actually in Monkstown, and typical Irish weather. I was hoping to do a bit of recording outside today, but of course the Irish weather is not cooperating. It's a little bit wet, it's a little bit miserable, a little bit dreary. But sure, it's Ireland. That's what you come to expect. So I'm here in my living room, I have the candles lit and I'm nice and snug, and I thought I'd share a story and a song with you. So the story that I would like to share with you is quite appropriate because it is all about St. Patrick, and what better man to talk about on St. Patrick's Day than the man himself. And I quite like this story because it's a little bit outside of the box. I mean, we all know the famous stories about St. Patrick. We know he brought Christianity to Ireland. We know that he got rid of the snakes, however he did it, or however you interpret that. But did you know that St. Patrick had a pet goat? Well, he did. Now, I have no idea what he would have called this goat, so let's just go with the bog standard Billy the goat, shall we? And Patrick loved and adored this goat. This goat was like Patrick's best friend in the whole world. And every day, St. Patrick, wherever he went in Ireland, you could be sure that he had his goat with him along the way. And that was, of course, the case when he got to the town of Skerries in North County Dublin. Now, if you're not familiar with Skerries, it's a beautiful harbour town. If and when you were in Ireland, I would highly recommend you have a visit. Go and have some ice cream on the harbour, and you can look out to St. Patrick's Island, which is just off the mainland. Now, it is said that when St. Patrick got to the town of Skerries, he set himself up on this island. He would leave the goat there every day, and he would take a boat to the mainland to do his day's work. But one day, unbeknownst to Patrick, 3 local mischievous goons named Smiggy, Shawnee and Seamus, they made their way out to St. Patrick's Island. And what did they do? Only kill the goat, cook it, and eat it. This was before vegans or vegetarians or anything like that. Now, later that night, St. Patrick returned to the island and he searched high and low and up and down and lengthways and sideways for Billy the goat. Couldn't find it anywhere. And it wasn't long before he realised what had happened. Those 3 local goons, they've taken my goat. Patrick was furious. He was so furious that he didn't need a boat to get back to the mainland. One giant jump across the sea, and he pounded his feet into the ground with such force that he left footprints in the rock. Patrick stood in front of Smiggy, Shawnee and Seamus, and he was so angry that his shoulders were moving up and down, up and down. Red veins were popping in his eyes. And he asked the 3 men if they had taken the goat. What do you think they said? Not at all. Was it you, Smiggy? No, it wasn't me. Patrick became even more enraged. He grew 10 foot tall. His hair was standing on the top of his head. Even his beard was pointing out in anger. And now he was breathing in and out so heavily that he almost inhaled the seagulls that were flying by. Once again, he asked the 3 men if they had taken the goat. But this time, when they tried to say no, Words didn't come out. All they could do was bleat like a goat. So thankfully, one by one, Smiggy, Shawnee and Seamus admitted to taking Billy the goat and their voices returned to normal. But if you go to the town of Skerries, you'll find that the local people in Skerries are known as Skerries goats because of what they did to poor old Billy. And not only that, but if you wait for the tide to go out, you will be able to find St. Patrick's footprint in the rock. That you've all had your feast or are having your feast of Irish food today, given that it is the special St. Patrick's Day. So I thought that I might sing a song which is sort of Irish food themed, and this is a song called Colcannon. It was made, it's an old folk song, but it was made quite famous by the Black family. When I say the Black family, I'm talking about Mary Black and Francis Black. And they did a beautiful version of Colcannon, the whole family all together, lovely harmonies and everything. For those of you who are not familiar with what Colcannon is, it's a really simple dish. It's mashed potatoes with cabbage or kale, onions, butter, little bit of salt and pepper, but mostly the butter. That's really the key. I mean, it has to be about 70% butter, really, to make it the right way, the Irish way. So it's quite tasty. And so I like this song. It's nice and lively, and I certainly hope that you'll enjoy it as well. And if you know it, absolutely sing along. So here's Colcannon. Well, did you ever eat Colcannon, which was made with yellow cream, and the kale and pretties blended like a picture in a dream? Did you ever make a hole on top to fill the melting lake of the clover flavoured butter that your mother used to make? Oh, you did, so did he, and so did I. And the more I think about it, sure, the nearer I'm to cry. Oh, weren't them the happy days when troubles we knew not, and our mothers made Colcannon in the little skillet pot? Well, did you ever go a-courting, boys, when evening sun went down, and the moon began a-peeping from behind the hill a-down, and you wandered down the Boreen where the Cluracorn was seen, and you whispered love and praises to your sweet and dear Colleen? Oh, you did, so did he, and so did I. And the more I think about it, sure, the nearer I'm to cry. Oh, weren't them the happy days when troubles we knew not, and our mothers made Colcannon in the little skillet pot? Oh, you did, so did he, and so did I. And the more I think about it, sure, the nearer I'm to cry. Oh, weren't them the happy days when troubles we knew not, and our mothers made Colcannon in the little skillet pot? So everyone, I wish you an absolutely spectacular, fantabulous, wonderful St. Patrick's Day in Massachusetts. I would love to be there celebrating with you, but you know, I have to sort of work on this production first. But once this little one has arrived and is big enough to get on an Aer Lingus flight, hopefully I'll be able to get over to you to do a show. So, as I said, have a wonderful St. Patrick's Day. Gur mila mahagwiv. Slán Nat, slán.
We're going to be joined now by the Harney School of Irish Dancing. They're going to do two different dances for us, a soft shoe and a hard shoe. I'm about to welcome a good friend of the ICC's here to the stage today. Ginty McGrath, a good Mayfield man from County Cork. He's well known around the Boston area for his lively songs.
Hello ladies and gents, welcome to the Irish Cultural Centre here in Canton. I'm delighted to be joining my good friends here on stage. We're going to start you off with a song written by a great Galway man by the name of Don Stiff. It's a lovely song he wrote about Boston and it's called Missin' Galway, and it goes a bit like this. Settle down at first when you go away from home, and the people that you left behind, your heart is surely torn. I remember people saying to me, try it while you're young. If you don't like it over there back home, you can always come. And all that I brought with me was a bag and my guitar, just wanting to do the same at home, just playing in all the bars. But it wasn't like the Liffey or the pubs up in Clonmore, but the people here in Boston like to make it feel as if it were. And people say in time that you get a job and you settle down. There's always something in my mind saying this is not my town. Each morning when I wake up and I start a brand new day, I look forward to going back to Galway. And people say that Boston is just one big Irish town. You meet them there from Galway, Cork, from even Carrow Town. Well, it's great to meet your friends out there, but sometimes it's so sad to think they have to leave their home cause the work back there was bad. And June brings all of us together at a place they call Stonehill, where they meet up at the weekend for the Irish Festival. Paddy Riley, Johnny McAvoy, the Clancy's and Shannon, with their hearts so full of soul, Wayne Kennis, boy, they got 'em. People say in time that you get a job and you settle down. There's always something in my mind saying this is not my town. Each morning when I wake up and I start a brand new day, I look forward to going back to Galway. Soccer, there's Stone Man over there, and when Ireland plays a match they all go crazy on the beer. Well, the big screen in the Blackthorn, that's my local bar out there. Big Jack and the lads in green, they also drink in there. People say in time that you get a job and you settle down. There's always something in my mind saying this is not my town. Each morning when I wake up and I start a brand new day, I look forward to going back to Galway. I look forward to going back to Galway.
We're going to be joined now by our set dancing class, led by Coach Bracken. Take it away, guys.
Now we're going to play a Luca Bloom song. This one's a special shout out to my daughter Molly. This is called "You Couldn't Have Come at a Better Time." It goes like this. Now where is this place we've come to? We don't know what to say, and we long to see each other now, and the frightened of that day. And you met me in a barren place, and you walked me to the hill. You're so good for each other then, we know we can be still. And you couldn't have come at a better time. You couldn't have come at a better time. You couldn't have come at a better time. Not if you tried. Oh no, not if you tried. Oh no. We had 500 questions between you and me. When you look into my eyes, my love, tell me what you see. Is it something you're not sure of? Is there something on your mind? Or is it just another case of the right thing at the wrong time? And you couldn't have come at a better time. You couldn't have come at a better time. You couldn't have come at a better time. Since we were first together, by the lakeside sky so blue, we were so good for each other. Me and you and me and you. And you couldn't have come at a better time. You couldn't have come at a better time. You couldn't have come at a better time. can you try? Oh no, not if you try. Oh no. Started. I was 18 when they came to town. They call it the summer alone. They were burning babies, burning flags in the humps and getting us to down. I took a job at the seaman way down on Caltrim Street, and I fell in love with a laundry girl that was working next to me. Brown hair zigzagged down her face, and the look of half surprise, like a fox caught in the headlights. There was animal in her eye. She said to me, can't you see, I'm not the factory kind. If you don't take me out of here, I lose my mind. And she was a rare thing, fine as a bee's ring. So fine and let her win, might blow her away. She was a lost thing, she with her lemon wine. She said as long as there's no price in love I used to, you wouldn't want me any other way. Busted out the market town through picking down in Kent. We could tinker pots and pans and knives wherever we went. We were camping down together one time, the work was pretty good, and she wouldn't wait for the harvest. I thought we should. I said to her we'd settle down and we'd get a few acres done, with a fire burning in the heart and babies on the run. She said, oh man, you foolish man, that surely sounds like hell. You might be lord of half the world till that only is well. And she was a rare thing, fine as a bee's ring. So fine and let her win, might blow her away. She was a lost child, she was running wild. She said, as long as there's no place in the wild sea, you wouldn't want me any other way. They say that she got married once to a man called Romany Brown. Even the gypsies caravan so much like settling down. And at last I heard she's living rough way back in the Derby Bee. A bottle of white horse in her pocket, a wolf found at her feet. Oh, they say her nose is faded, rough weather and hard boots. Well, maybe that's the price you pay for the change that you refuse. And she was a rare thing, fine as a bee's wing. So fine and let her win, might blow her away. She was a lost child, she would have done it wide. as long as there's no place in love I used to you wouldn't want me any other way. She was a rare thing, fine as a bee's ring, and I miss her more than ever words can say. If I could just taste all of her wildness now, if I could hold her in my arms today, it wouldn't want her any other way.
Well, that's the end of the show. I hope you enjoyed it. And I just want to give a few words of thanks. A shout out to our cameraman, Matthew Henderson, who produced this whole show for us. Big round of applause to our, at home if you can, to our musicians. Aoife Griffin, David Healy and Kieran Dalton and Ginty McGrath. What a wonderful performance. Thanks to Kate Bracken and the Monday Night Set Dancing Group. They put on quite a show. And to the Harney Academy of Irish Dance. I know they're busy getting ready for Worlds in Belfast in April, so I appreciate them coming out and putting on such a fabulous performance. And to you at home, thank you so much for joining in. We have a fantastic base of members and friends that support the centre, and we'd like to say a word of thanks to you also. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you all. And now we're going to take a break and try some of these wonderful Guinness pints that Aoife has pulled. Matthew, I hope you'll join us. A special toast to you all. Sláinte. That was worth waiting for.